Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. My name is Sam Evans and this is the Electric Singularity. Now, there's been a lot of buzz recently about Chinese electric cars, and for good reason. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them are making some incredible products that most people don't know about. In fact, most people have never even heard of the mainstream Chinese brands. Now, even if you have heard of some of them, probably haven't heard of others, because there's quite a few out there, and there's quite a lot coming too. In fact, I would say there's a Chinese EV invasion about to happen outside of China. Yep, love it or hate it, it's going to happen. Starting with BYD this year in Australia, New Zealand, Norway, and I believe other countries as well, and NIO also in Norway, and that is just the start. You've also got the MG EV, which is already on sale in many countries, including the UK, New Zealand, and Australia, and others. And this is just the tip of the iceberg with many more to come. The buzz around EVs is heavily focused on Tesla, which sells more EVs per hour than any other electric vehicle company in the world. And indeed, more than BMW, Volkswagen, and Renault put together. Tesla's fortunes have made it the highest valued car company in the world. Elon Musk is the second richest man in the world. He did overtake Jeff Bezos for a short time, and I'm sure he will again, but at this point, second richest man in the world. But while Tesla might be leading the charge for innovation, the huge Chinese market means that China makes 2.5 times as many cars as the USA. And this in turn means it's in the West. This in turn means it's a burgeoning player in EVs too. Not many Chinese EVs have arrived in the West, but they're coming, and soon. Here are some of the brands and models to look out for, many of which could arrive in 2021 in your country. BYD. After Tesla, BYD sells the most EVs per hour of any electric car maker in the world. BYD stands for Build Your Dreams. According to the McKinsey Electric Vehicle Index, data collated by MoneyShake, Tesla sells 42 EVs per hour and BYD a surprising 26. BYD has a joint venture with Mercedes to produce a brand called Denza, and its electric buses are in use in Scandinavia, with electric garbage trucks on the streets in California and also all over China. Now, BYD has been a focus of interest in the US for over a decade, ever since Warren Buffett bought 225 million shares in the company all the way back in 2008. Now, wasn't that an astute purchase by Warren Buffett? By October 2020, Buffett's original 232 million investment was worth 4.5 billion, a near 19x increase that further underlines how shrewd he is with his money. Remember as well, BYD is fairly undervalued compared to many other car companies in China. Its PE is around about 92 right now. Tesla's PE is around about 670. Undervalued? I suggest buy the stock. So, other things you may not be aware of that BYD are doing, they've had a joint venture with Toyota to produce electric vehicles. Now, Toyota's not really doing any of the work, which is fine. BYD makes the batteries, the motors, and many of the other parts that Toyota will use in their electric cars. In fact, BYD has a number of JVs with a wide range of businesses all around the world. They're intelligent. They use other businesses to achieve their success. Now, the BYD portfolio is huge, but the two cars that are currently worthy of attention are the Tang and the Han. Well, actually, there's a third car. I'll speak about that later. The Tang SUV was introduced into the Norwegian market in July 2020, costing around $71,000, US dollars that is, in that country, while offering a 313-mile range and a 0 to 60-mile time of 4.6 seconds. It's not slow. Considering the size of the Tang, it's in a similar class to the Tesla Model X and has similar performance, but for more money in the same ballpark as the Model Y. For money, it's actually more closely priced to the Tesla Model Y, so it's quite a good value vehicle. Now, the Tang will be sold in Australia in a base model version for around about $50,000 and in the higher grade version for around about $70,000. So that's in Australian dollars, which equates to around about 40,000 US dollars for the base model and around about 55,000 US dollars for the more premium model. As you can see, though, is a very well priced SUV. Now, the BYD Han, on the other hand, is a mid-size sedan in a similar class to the Tesla Model 3 that was released in China in July and is already outselling its Chinese rivals. There are various versions of the Han, including a plug-in hybrid, but the top all-electric model can reach 62 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds, which isn't all that far off a Tesla Model 3 performance, which does it in 3.1 seconds, and it beats the long-range version Tesla Model 3. The Han uses lithium iron phosphate Plaid batteries that are manufactured by BYD, and they are safer and cheaper than lithium iron, as well as containing zero cobalt, which is a big plus. The Han only costs 40,000 US dollars, although that is in China. BYD has shown this car off in Germany, but hasn't revealed plans to sell outside China yet. Well, that was until recently we learned that Australian distributor Nexport will sell the car in Australia, and I believe also in New Zealand. Now, in my opinion, the most important electric car to go on sale in the world this year will be the BYD EA1. Now, I'm referring not to the existing model, so please don't get confused because some of you have been after my previous models. I'm referring to the all-new BYD EA1. It won't have the same specs as this current model in China. It will have new updated specs with a new updated Plaid battery, and it will cost in Australia well under $35,000. In fact, I believe the base model will be around about $29,000. That equates to around about 22,000 US dollars. Now, 22,000 US dollars for an all-electric EV is unprecedented, and this EV will come with a good quality battery, which will have thermal management. Actually, they don't even need thermal management. The lithium iron phosphate batteries don't even need it, and they're able to retain almost full battery capacity after 3,000 charges. And they don't catch fire in a crash. Therefore, this battery is actually incredibly good quality at an incredibly low price, plus BYD make the battery. The BYD EA1 will be one of the most important cars in history, I believe, when we look back in 10 years and we think about what cars changed the automotive landscape. The next company on this list is BAIC. The company selling the third most EVs every hour is BAIC, 18 per hour, with a variety of under the BAIC brand or the BJEV sub-brand in China, which isn't widely known outside of China. Some of these might be entering the European and American market, but BAIC hasn't unveiled any official plans just yet. However, BAIC's Arcfox brand has stated that it plans to sell its ECF SUV, created by former head of Volkswagen design Walter de Silva in Europe. It's a good-looking car. Even more excitingly, the Arcfox GT electric supercar is destined to arrive in Europe. The plan was to unveil both in the first half of 2020, although it appears that the pandemic has delayed those intentions considerably, with a 2021 launch expected instead. Next up, we have SAIC. Westerners probably haven't heard of SAIC either. The company owns the Maxus and Rowe brands in China, which haven't emerged from that country. But SAIC also purchased the British brand MG and has already had considerable success selling EV models under that marquee in the UK and Australia, including the MG ZS EV and the MG5 EV. In fact, the MG ZS EV has been one of the most popular cars in Australia, and that is in spite of the fact that almost nobody knows the brand. So it's doing incredibly well. The latter is the first electric station wagon estate car and was available from dealers for as little as £21,000, 34,000 US dollars soon after launch. But that's only the beginning, with a small cheaper EV allegedly on the cards. The most exciting MG car that could arrive in 2021, however, is the E-Motion. This swooping concept might not have its gull wings in production, but it has been suggested that it will cost under £30,000 or around 41,000 US dollars, which is entirely possible given MG's track record so far. Next up is Geely. Now, don't get confused. We won't be seeing any cars branded Geely, but its various sub-brands are already all over the world. Those include Volvo, Polestar, Lotus, the LEVC taxi company, and Malaysian car maker Proton. The Polestar 2 is essentially a Chinese car under a Volvo performance brand, and it has arrived to generally very positive reviews. Volvo has strong EV plans and already produces an electric version of the very capable XC40 Recharge. But this is still made in Europe, in Belgium in fact. The Polestar vehicles are made in China, and although it's not a cheap car, it illustrates just how far Chinese manufacturing has come. This is a quality car with very competitive range and performance, and further improvements are expected in 2021. You can see from Western journalists all over the world, in Australia, in the United States, Europe, that these cars being made by Geely or by Volvo are excellent quality, and they are designed many times winning design awards and being very popular for their style. Next up, we have Wuling. The current best-selling car in China is the Wuling Hongwan Mini EV, which costs, seriously, not a typo, $4,200. Seriously. The Mini EV can do 62 miles per hour, only 62 miles per hour, so it has a top speed of 100 kilometers an hour, and the battery only lasts for 124 miles on a single charge. But you might not need or want more in a suburban or urban environment. In fact, 95% of people drive less than 30 kilometers per day. So this is way more than most people need. Wuling doesn't appear to have any plans to sell the Mini EV outside of China, but it shows what kind of rock-bottom prices could be unleashed in Europe or the USA, even if higher safety regulations in those regions would push the cost up. If Wuling does release the Mini EV in Europe or the USA in 2021, it would be the cheapest EV by a very, very large margin. Now just imagine if you're a business that distributes cars, or maybe you think to yourself, why don't we distribute that car here in our country? Maybe we have to add a few little safety features here and there. It might cost them an extra $2,000, but you're still looking at a car that's going to cost less than $10,000. You can imagine the kind of appeal that would have. Next up is Xpeng. Although most of the attention on Xpeng has been directed towards the P7 sedan, the G3 SUV has been the first model to ship to Europe. There are already 100 G3s in Norway, a country with the most EVs per capita of any country in the world. The G3 has a 282-mile WLTP range and a price starting at $42,500. A lot of manufacturers use Norway as a testing ground, as illustrated by BYD focusing on the country for its first Tang deliveries. If things go well, expect to see Xpeng roll out the G3 elsewhere in Europe and in the USA, with the P7 soon to follow. The P7 starts at $35,500, offers an NEDC range of up to 440 miles, quite a good range. A realistic range would be more like 350 miles. That's still 500 kilometers. That's more than enough. And it does 0 to 60 miles per hour or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in only 4.4 seconds. That's a quick car. The company is also touting its Xavier self-driving system, which it hopes will one day rival Tesla's, although that seems unlikely considering Tesla's lead in this area. But the Xpeng P7 certainly has potential to rival the Tesla Model 3 for value and potentially even for overall ability. Now, this company, I don't know quite how to pronounce, but I'll give it a shot. Aiways. This is only a very small company. They sell only a few hundred EVs a month in China, but they've already arrived in Europe. The company is highly affordable, $28,000 to $42,000 U5 SUV, has rolled off the cargo ship to become a rental option for Hertz Corsica. Since July 2020, 500 Aiways U5 cars have been available to rent on the island. The U5 offers 204 horsepower and a 250-mile range, perfect for a land area that is only 52 miles long. It has been possible to order a U5 in Europe since April 2020. but none have been delivered beyond the cars in Corsica just yet. Next up, we have one of the most well-known electric car companies in the world, thanks to the EP7, the brand NIO. NIO is a brand you may well have heard of. Its stock is now traded on the New York Stock Exchange and has been steadily gaining value, up to nearly $59 a share from just under $10 when it was first listed in September 2018. Investors have done well. It has also sponsored a Formula E team since the racing championship began. NIO's halo vehicle is the EP9 hypercar, which has broken the record at the Nürburgring. Which is, if you're not aware of what the Nürburgring is, it's a 21-kilometer racetrack in Germany, and it's basically the place to own the record. If you own the record at the Nürburgring, then kudos goes to you. It's a place of tremendous bragging rights, and the fact that NIO holds the record is quite a significant achievement. NIO plans to bring some of its more everyday cars to Europe in 2021, including the ES6 SUV. NIO has just announced a Tesla-challenging ET7 sedan with a battery pack up to 150 kilowatt hours, enabling it to have a huge NEDC range of 1,000 kilometers. Probably have a more realistic range of about 800 kilometers, but that is enormous. And in fact, that is more range than about 90% of petrol, ICE, or diesel cars currently on the market. You can see that in 5 years' time from now, most electric cars will actually have a better range than their petrol, gas, diesel counterparts. That is a huge, huge thing to look forward to. So, a car like this would really put the cat amongst the pigeons and help combat all those naysayers who go on about how their fossil fuel vehicles can go much further on a single tank. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these Chinese-made cars in my country. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them in Europe and other countries as well. And I think they'll help to bring down costs of electric cars, and they'll help to make them more available to more people all around the world. And that is good news. Guys, thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe or like the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.